secrets in the night, chasing dreams and fleeting smiles, lost ourselves in midnight miles, stars reflected in her eyes, moonlight's kiss where darkness lies, steps we took beyond the day, night turned dreams to shades of gray. Cali, Ronnie, in the air, echoes dance without a care, through the shadows, through the light, we'll remember every flight. Silent roads and hidden ways, moments pass like summer days, every heartbeat, every fight, promises of endless night. Time moves on, but hearts remain, fingers trace through drops of rain, laughter lingers soft and sweet, memories that time can't beat. Kylie, Ronnie, in the air, echoes dance without a care, through the shadows, through the light, we'll remember every flight. Kylie, Ronnie, in the air, echoes dance without a care, through the shadows, through the light, we'll remember every flight.
Good afternoon, y'all. How's everybody doing? It's morning for some of y'all. Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night to some of y'all that might just be listening to listen in. So, last night, I decided to rewatch Theo Vaughn's video where he has a coroner out of Louisiana, and the conversation that ensues between the two of them and all of the stuff that this coroner says, which I need to make some shorts on this even more than I have. I think I've only put one short out on this. It just kind of lit a fire under my ass, so to speak. So there's something he says in here about having like an Overwatch State Department that oversees all of the work of their coroners, medical examiners, pathologists, so forth. I understand California has boards and stuff like that, but it's not working. It's not cutting it. So in watching this again, which I'm going to watch this again today, I'm going to clip parts out of it, I'm going to put it out, and you guys will see why. It really has lit another fire under my ass. Not only making sure that new investigations are starting, linking people with proper authorities to start more investigations. I've really thought about what Lindsay has said about there needs to be legislature, there needs to be bills passed. So I started looking into bills, and the only bill that I can find is Senate Bill SB, I think it's 3103 or 1303. Hold on a second. Senate Bill 1303. And all that pretty much did was make it a county by county decision on how they're doing, like the sheriff coroner, medical examiner, all of that stuff. That was back in 2018, and they wound up passing it, but then they went on to amend the bill to death to the point where it's really not helping any of these victims in the state of California. So, you know me, I love to read, I love to research, I love to just find out information, whatever. And I could only find 2 news things about this Senate bill. And it's just crazy to me how these sheriffs were all opposing it, but it still wound up passing, even though they wound up amending it to death. I'm going to go over all of this on my other channel tonight. Most likely, I don't know, between 8 and 9, something like that. We'll see. We'll see what time I feel like it. So then, in watching this video, which I'm going to share the link with y'all, I highly recommend, even if you're busy doing something, this is a podcast that you can listen to without having to watch it. I love the conversations that Theo Vaughn has with all of his guests. Highly recommend subscribing to him. I don't know why my bell's turned off on this. I need them bells on because I love when he puts stuff out. But this is one that I continue to go back to, and I'm really glad, after doing what I've been doing for the past 2 to 3 weeks, I'm really glad that I revisited this, because it just lit a whole new fire for me, and that's fine. These victims deserve some change. So I was looking to see if there's any type of death investigator in California that overlooks, like, the sheriff coroner, and there is not one. But it did, however, take me to California State Coroners Association, which we're gonna go through all of these links, all of this stuff tonight on my channel. I love the plethora of information that is right here, right on one website. It has given me a lot of insight on a lot of things, which led me to the CDC for public health in the California coroner medical examiner laws. What has changed, their government codes, all of that, and it pissed me off even more, so I kept going, kept digging. So then I found this one, which I'm going to read this also tonight. I'm not getting into it. All I'm going to do is pretty much read this draft letter. I'm probably going to edit it another 10 times before I make it a public letter that everybody can simply just copy, paste it, and email it to the Board of Supervisors. That's all you have to do, is copy and paste this letter and let's get some shit rolling in Senate. Now is the time. January's coming close. We might as well start getting stuff in. I'm going to be sending this to more than just the Board of the Supervisors, but it's a start. The start is important. Hi, Mega. How you doing, honey? Christine, it's good to see you, honey. All right. With that, the one thing that just kept sticking out for me during Kylie's case was listening to Draw Latina and how she kept saying this term, medical legal stuff. And it has really interested me. So I just keep on researching medical legal stuff. And then I also found this website on Orange County Gov that explains the extensive training that they have to actually go through, which we will also read this tonight on my channel. I just want to show you guys what has led me to where I'm at right now. I've only put about an hour into this. Some of it I've put into Grok to help me write, because you know. So it goes a little something like this. If you guys want me to make this bigger on my screen, I can do that. Just zoom that in a little bit. Bear with me, I'm kind of having an anxiety attack. I don't have those very often, but I figured if I go live, maybe it'll work me through it. It might make it worse. Who the fuck knows? We're about to find out. So give me a minute. Let me catch my breath for a minute, and then I'm going to read this letter. How's everybody's days going? That's probably not going to help, but fuck it. Alright, got my vape. I got my last little bit of my coffee. Okay. All right. Made me some oat milk first thing this morning. Y'all, I'm addicted to oat milk. And seeing all this stuff going on with our food supplies, like, and then reading the back label of all of the oat milks that I absolutely love and seeing that they are already putting chemicals in what used to be healthy, I just can't. And for the record, just so you guys know, I think it's Nestle is going to be using a new chemical in their products, which is known and linked to women and egg production from their ovaries, as well as definitely a cancer causer. I forget the name of it. I'll have to look it up. I'll give that all to y'all whenever. But yeah, I've been consuming so much information, reading so much, researching so much. My brain is gonna explode, y'all. Anyway, all right, let's get on with this, and then I'm gonna hop back off here. It says, "Dear members of the California Board of Supervisors, I am writing to you concerning a matter of utmost urgency and moral imperative regarding the structure of the sheriff-coroner system across California within the county's death investigation system. The current integration of sheriff and coroner duties in many California counties has led directly to significant injustices, repeated instances of potential corruption, and clear conflicts of interest, especially in cases involving minor children and inmates. This letter demands your immediate support for a Senate bill aimed at separating these roles and establishing an independent State Department medical examiner or coroner. The need for systemic change. The integration of sheriff and coroner duties have repeatedly compromised the integrity of death investigations. The cases of Michael Shane Younger, where his initial cause of death was misattributed, where initial coroner findings under the sheriff-coroner system were later contradicted by independent autopsies. Paisley Woodard, who was hit and killed by a motorist and her case being mishandled with a slap on the wrist. Kylie Rodney, whose death investigation and autopsy faces public scrutiny for potential mishandling. Trinity Backus, where discrepancies in her autopsy results were also noted by professionals. The death of Amy Morris, whom was wrongfully arrested, detained, and later died from untreated head trauma, while alone in a holding cell awaiting a court hearing, are stark reminders of how the system can fail the most vulnerable among us, and it become evident that the integrity of death investigations are compromised. These incidents underscore a systemic problem where conflicts of interest can lead to corruption, or at the very least, the appearance of it. The key points of concern: conflicts of interest. The dual role inherently conflicts when law enforcement actions are under investigation. This can result in altered or incorrect death classifications to protect law enforcement or to avoid scrutiny. Public trust and accountability. The public's faith in both law enforcement and the justice system is severely undermined when the integrity of death investigations is in question. This is particularly damaging in cases involving minors and inmates, where transparency and accountability are paramount. Inaccurate death certifications. In several counties, the sheriff's coroner's determination of cause of death has been contradicted by subsequent independent reviews, leading to wrong legal outcomes and affecting the lives of many. Our demands for reform. 1. Legislative action. I implore that you introduce, support, and pass a Senate bill and amend SB 1303 to legally mandate the separation of the sheriff and coroner roles. This would eliminate the inherent conflict of interest and ensure impartiality in death investigations. 2. An establishment of independent medical examiners. Advocate for the appointment of a State Department medical examiner or coroner selected based on their expertise in forensic pathology, not political or law enforcement affiliations. That's a big point. This would ensure that death investigations are conducted with scientific rigor and ethical independence. Hold on, I'm going to read the chat. Absolutely mega. Number 3, oversight and transparency. Implement mechanisms for ongoing accountability, including mandatory reviews of controversial cases by an independent body to safeguard against future misconduct or errors. The benefit of this reform will be restoration of public confidence. An independent coroner system would restore and maintain public trust, especially in high-stakes cases involving law enforcement and accountability. Justice for victims, accurate and unbiased death investigations would lead to more just legal outcomes, providing closure and justice for families like those of Younger, Woodard, Rodney, Backus, and Morris. Protection of vulnerable populations, ensuring that the deaths of minors and inmates are investigated without bias, would directly address the failures we have witnessed. I urge you to act with urgency to this matter that it demands. The lives of our citizens, especially the young and those in custody, depend on your leadership and commitment to reform. Please support this necessary legislation to ensure that no more families suffer due to a flawed system. Thank you for your attention on this critical issue. I look forward to your positive response and action. And then you're just going to sign it sincerely. You can put your name. The contact will be optional, but must include the date. You always want to date everything. And then I have a bunch of links that I'm going to include with this little write-up. This letter is inspired by the general discourse around the need for reform in California Sheriff's coroner system, with specific references to cases where discrepancies in autopsy results have been documented, such as those discussed in various public forums and media outlets. I'm not only going to send this to different areas of legislature, Senate, stuff like that. I am also going to be posting this on X so that it gets a lot more traction. Like I said, this is just draft. I'm going to rewrite it a few more times. And then I might then put it back into Grok so that it can word it to the best of our ability. If anybody would like me to add any names or cases on here, please reach out to me. It's okay, Bex. You definitely want to rewind and rewatch. It's not very long. It's just me reading this draft letter that I started this morning, about a little over an hour ago. It's a start. It needs to happen. I'm not one for, I really hated politics, y'all, but I just don't have a choice. I really don't. You know, seeing all this injustice in our system, seeing what's going on within our own government, it's really, I think 2025 is the year that changes need to come, that a complete system reform needs to happen. And I think for cases like Cali, Trinity, even Dante, Michael, I think about that man all the time. I think about what his family has tried to do, having it reinvestigated, and yet law enforcement still isn't doing something. And I think the discrepancy is between the sheriff coroner system. So I need to keep doing things that I know can make a difference. I understand we love our YouTubes, and I love hanging out with y'all, and I love keeping our connection open. But I just, on the back end of things, I've been doing so much stuff, and just some of it, it really legally does not need to be on YouTube. There's just certain things that if you want action to happen in certain instances, you have to do it privately and securely. But stuff like this that needs all the public attention that it can, I'm going to continue putting it out there. If you guys want to join me in sending this to whatever part of legislation you want to, California needs reformed as a whole. There's a lot of other states. Pennsylvania is far from perfect. I might even rewrite that for some things in my area, and get some things rolling in Pennsylvania, since we're going to be seeing some some changes coming to Pennsylvania as well. So, but yeah, that's all I got for y'all. I'm gonna hop off here. I got some more work to do before my kiddo gets home, and then he's off for this weekend. So I will go live later tonight. I'm not sure if it'll be my normal like 9-10 p.m. if it'll be a little bit later, but I will most definitely be going over all of the links I just showed you, which led me here in writing this letter to begin with. We'll go over all that. I don't know if I'm going to work on this letter anymore. I'll probably work on it before I go live tonight, though. Yeah, Mega, you definitely need to create an X account. By far the best platform for freedom of speech. By far. There's a lot of political stuff on there, and then there are, and that's what I love about X, is Elon stands for freedom of speech so much that he has allowed within his system, like, how it used to be when, like, I was younger in the 80s, you know what I mean? Like, it's a platform that teaches you, one, how to stand up for things that you believe in, but two, it also develops thick skin that so many of this generation lack, you know? I'm really glad that my son is an avid X and Reddit user. Some of the shit, the conversations him and I have, man, he can dish it out. And I'm really glad that I have established, you know, that stand your ground mentality with my son. Stand up for what you believe in. If you see something, say something. It's important. But yeah, I'm off here, y'all. I'll be back later, like I said, on Scrolls on Fire. Anywhere between 9 and midnight. Somewhere, that's the best I can do. I love y'all so very much. Thank you for being here. God bless you all.